Hi, I'm Michael Bartlett, and I've been running for about 5 years now, and I'm training for a goal of a 135 half marathon in Myrtle Beach on October 17th.
Hey, my name is Jack Stevenson. I've been running for on and off about 20 years, but more seriously here in the last 4 to 5 years, and everything he just said, 135 Myrtle Beach in October. Looking forward to it.
Hey guys, my name is Joel. I am working on a Boston qualifying time of 3 hours, 20 minutes and 10 seconds. My goal race is the Erie Marathon, September 12th. I have been running for about 10 years.
Hey everyone, welcome to DevRunner. My name is Paul. I'm a certified running coach, and this is episode 6, believe it or not, of Chasing PRs. This series follows the runners on screen with me as they execute training plans that I've designed to help them reach their racing goals this coming fall. I'll be sharing running tips and advice with them and you to become a faster, stronger, and healthier runner. So please don't forget to like this video, leave your comments and questions below, and don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell so that you get notifications whenever I post a new video. You can follow all of the runners on screen with me on Strava. The links are also below in the show notes, so please feel free to follow along and give them encouragement as the weeks go by. And before we just jump right in, I just want to encourage everyone to check out the video that I posted earlier this week on my channel, it's all about Racerback singlets, specifically by the company Neleus. I went out and did a little bit of research for possibly cheaper options for runners out there. And I'm happy to say I got lucky and found some quality equipment for people. So please feel free to check all that out. Now, before we kill any more time here, I want to jump right in with Michael, who's going to lead the day with his recount of his past 7 days of training. He's well into the strength phase of his training towards a 135 half marathon. So Michael, tell us how it went for you.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid week. Felt recouped somewhat, and I was able to get back in the swing of things.
Glad to hear it.
See, I had 3 sort of key workouts, I guess you'd say. I had strides on Tuesday, which went well. Still doing the 10 strides throughout 6 miles, so still quite a bit. But I'm adapting well to that.
Glad to hear it.
And then Thursday we had 4 half-mile surges, at tempo pace, which it is about 7:09, 7:08, somewhere in that range, pace per mile, according to the 135 goal there.
Yep.
So, I felt really encouraged by that pace. It was hard, but it was, maintainable, I guess you would say, at least for the surges.
Gotcha. No, that's awesome, because that's exactly what it should feel like. It should be comfortably uncomfortable. Something that you can do, but you don't necessarily enjoy it while it's happening.
Right. So the first one I ended up doing right about race pace, and then I tried to sort of settle into a little bit faster for the next few, and it worked out well. So that they were, I felt like the legs were turning over good, and my heart rate was pretty okay. I felt good.
That's great. And it's especially great to hear with you for those viewers who did not join us last week. Michael's coming off of illness. So it's great that your heart rate is there, that your muscles are responding. I mean, it's just great news. So yeah, please continue with the rest of your week.
Yeah, so that was Thursday. Then Jack and I, we did our long run together, and we ran. We pushed it to Sunday because the weather was pretty poor on Saturday. It was a lot of rain and wind and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we did it Sunday, and it was 11 miles with 3 miles at race pace. So we did a nice little rolling hill route through the town here, and then we finished up at the high school track because it was flat and easier to maintain those paces. There's not a lot of flat areas where we live, so we had to sort of do that. And I will say I feel like it was really. I told my wife Kelly, I was like, I feel like that honestly, this is my best run I've had in like a year.
That's awesome.
After that run yesterday, like I just felt strong. I mean, it was hard, don't get me wrong. But it was 11 miles and a progression, rolled down 11 miles and each mile was about 10 seconds faster. Like I was just, they were just ticking right along, I guess you'd say.
Yep. I studied your long run very carefully once it posted to Strava. And it was almost robotically perfect. It was just so encouraging, and a point I want to make to all three of you guys. This seems like a great place to insert this. As encouragement for you guys, because you're all, Joel started his training plan a week before you guys did, but you're all kind of at similar points where you're probably halfway through the strength building phase of your training cycles. You're probably starting to feel the fatigue building week after week. Even after there's a down week, there's just still that kind of lingering discomfort. And for a lot of runners, 6 weeks in or so is where resolve starts to give a little bit. You start to wonder, is this really worth it? Because you're not feeling good and race day is still so far away. You start to get those creeping ideas of, yeah, if I just missed a day, what difference does that really make in the long run? And all that kind of stuff. But what I love about what you just said, Michael, is that you just had the best run possibly in a year. And I want you to carry that with you in the tough times over the next couple of weeks, because you're going to continue getting stronger. All three of you are going to continue getting stronger, but you are going to start to notice that residual fatigue is not going to let go quite as easily now. And you also have to be careful not to push too hard. It's a very careful balancing act you guys have to try to pull off at this point, because it's also 6 to 8 weeks into it. Anyone's training cycle is usually where you see if you're following a bell curve, that's where most of the injuries happen in a training cycle. It's right there in the middle, because people start to get a little cocky, or they try to motivate themselves by moving a little too hard, or pushing a little too fast. And then a little niggle becomes something that they can't necessarily get away from without having to visit the PT and take some time off. So Michael, thank you for setting the mood for this week, because when I saw you post that run, it was just it made me so happy. You nailed it. You just nailed it, and I was so happy, because I'm kind of sitting and waiting, hoping that it doesn't happen to any of the three of you guys where you just kind of push a little too hard. But Michael, you're finding the perfect balance. Any final thoughts on the week? I know, Michael, just to let everybody know, Michael has a lot of things going on tonight. I'm really happy that he found the time to join us tonight, but he's going to drop after he finishes leading us through his week.
Yeah. So, to sort of finish up with that run, there was 3 miles at race pace, and they went well. They weren't quite there, but it was hot. It was humid. It was over 70 degrees, and the sun was beaming down on that track. And we were able to run. I won't speak for Jack, but I was in that 7:20 pace range, so just slightly above, but close, really close.
Oh yeah, I mean that's really impressive. I mean you're 5 seconds, maybe 6 seconds off of real race pace that you're going to have to hit in October, and you're doing that, like you said, in high humidity, high heat. I mean, that's just great news. It's great news that you were able to push yourself, but stay in control.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in, Michael. I know you've got a lot going on, and I'm looking forward to hearing how this week goes when we all get together again next week. So thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
All right, Jack, I just want to quickly move to you. I know you had as far as training miles and the days of the week that you did workouts were the same as Michael's, because you're also chasing a 1:35 half marathon. But just kind of want to put it out there for people. Jack and I are in the midst of negotiations, I should say, to possibly bounce his time a little bit lower, because Jack, lead us through the week, talk about your workouts, because what I'm seeing, the trend I'm seeing with you now is that you're doing everything right, and you're still managing to move faster than you need to move on those workout days. So we are probably looking at maybe bumping you up to like a 1:33 or so half marathon time goal. So before we go, we can talk about that in detail if you want to too, but first let's go through your week.
Yeah, the week, Paul, overall, very productive week. But on the Tuesday, Thursdays, strides felt good on Tuesday. Really no issue there. We were blessed here in the South with some little bit of cooler weather towards the first part of the week. It's all said and done now. It's back to Hades, but but it was a very good comfortable Tuesday morning. So the strides felt good. Again, I just running that early in the morning is taking over the span of 6 miles. I start the strides I usually start about on mile first half mile, take that first really half mile to really loosen my legs up, and then take that first stride. I always call it like my practice warm-up stride of the 10, just so I can get, because I feel by now I know what it feels like, and I know as I continue to progress through those things that a little bit more what to expect. And so finished with that. Felt pretty good. I averaged out about 7:25-ish a mile at the end of that.
That's awesome.
Thursday heading into, I really enjoyed the half mile surges. I started this week on mile 2.5, implementing the surges in, so I could really finish up strong with that kick. And adding that fourth one there, you definitely feel it definitely turns it up a notch when you add that fourth one. And now that I'm back home with a little more elevation, I'm dealing with a little bit more hills, rolling hills, as Michael alluded to with his. But still felt good. Again, like definitely felt that fourth one was I was like, okay, I'm really we're on all cylinders here. But I still at the end I felt good. I'm comfortable, Paul, still comfortable, and felt great. Saturday, on our run with Michael, and we actually thought about that. It was our first time we ran together in probably over a month, and like you said, hats off to him. I thought he did a terrific job out there, and considering the heat and humidity being back, and for me, really with focusing again on being able to maintain. My biggest focal point since we started this series was we all feel, you and I both feel pretty confident in the speed. It's just being able to maintain that speed for a larger distance that I'm normally used to. And so really enjoyed taking a look at this progressive run, starting at mile 1 at a certain, I wanted to internalize increments as I went up, and felt good, through the 8 miles. And then obviously we went to the track. to knock out the last three at race pace. And like Michael said, yes, it was. Once you got on that track, it was just like the heat was, you could just feel it coming off that rubber.
Yep.
And then the monotonous run by yourself around the track for 3 miles. So, but overall, it was, it felt very beneficial. I think he and I both got a lot of good work in Saturday morning. He was very happy. I was very happy. We both kind of knew it, and really thinking, okay, so this is kind of now what it's feeling like on these long runs, and really trying to internalize and just get the body used to mind and legs working as partners. And so we're slowly figuring that out. But like I said, still feeling good. Not feeling knocking on wood. I'm not feeling an abundant amount of soreness or anything like that. I'm waking up every morning, able, after a few little warm ups and stretches, I'm ready to go again. So far so good, and as I think we're heading into week 6 today. Felt good on the easy run today, and looking forward to the strides again tomorrow.
Well, I'm really, really encouraged by everything you said. There are two points that you brought up that really, I want you to understand how important they are, and I want them to further bolster your confidence, because when you talked about on Thursday, when you went into your 4th half-mile surge, how it was pushing you, but you got it done and you did it well. You did it with strength. That is exactly the feeling that you had right there. That is the feeling of strength being built. Being able to, what you're doing is creating a new gear, to kind of put it in car terms or something that everybody can understand. What you're doing is saying, I'm tired, I'm worn out, but there are strength reserves that are now present in your body because of the 5 weeks leading up to it. And that 4th surge is you building what you're expanding reserves, and a lot of the times, that was Thursday. A lot of the times, including my runners, including myself, you'll hit that rest day the next day, and you'll just be wiped out. And you'll be wondering how the heck, when the big work long run comes, how am I ever going to be ready for that? But the fact that you hit it, because all of my praise and accolades are not reserved for Michael. I studied your long run too, and dude, I mean, I have no doubt if we readjust your numbers now, we're still early enough in this training plan, you're going to hit a 133, I think, easily. I think, I don't want to put the pressure on you, and I'm making the mistake of doing this on camera, for all the viewers, but you may very well, if things continue on this trajectory, you may be looking at like a 131 high, somewhere in there. I don't want to push you too hard, but I'm going to leave it there because I'm really tempted to say more, but I'm not going to go there yet.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in the a 130. I'm expecting.
There it is. There it is. Jack. It's something, and I don't want you to get too, I don't want you to push yourself too hard in hearing this, but now that Joel has broached the subject, I'm seeing a lot in you, not just in your attitude, but in your physical capabilities, where I think you very much remind me of me in the way you're coming after your first half marathon. I ran my first half marathon in a 128 and change. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to hit a 128 with your first one, but you may very well. If we can find that line, you may be able to tweak in like a 129.50 now. Maybe, maybe it's too early to tell, but it may just happen.
Yeah, and while we're on the subject, I mean, I definitely, I know we're in the midst of chatting anyway, but would love to see, as we kind of looking at adjustments, what does that look like to the week, particularly the speed days, long days, and looking forward to see what that looks like, and that anything I can do to start applying now to start building up to that.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
Yeah.
adjust your numbers for the next 3 weeks as if you were training towards a 132.59.
Okay.
If in 3 weeks we're having this conversation and you're still saying, yeah, that last rep was tough, but I made it through, and then I went and ran my long run and you just killed it, there's going to be yet another up adjustment. And at that point,
Okay.
we're going to be looking at possibly going sub 90. So
That I'm a line. That's a deal. Okay. That's a deal.
yeah, I'm not throwing it all at you once. I'm not
Right.
here to break you. So, we'll see how the 133 treats you, and then we'll go from there.
All righty. Sound. That's a deal. Okay.
All right. Sounds good, man. All right. Thank you
All
for a
right.
great
Thank
weekend
you.
and for sharing it. All
Thank you,
right.
Paul.
Hey, awesome. It's just a pleasure listening to the way things are going for you. So, all right, Joel, let's jump in. Let's talk marathon now. You are 6 weeks complete in your marathon journey. And just to remind everybody, Joel is working towards a 3:20 marathon, which for his age category allows him to qualify for the Boston Marathon with enough time to spare so that even if Boston down adjusts their qualifying times, Joel will be more than well enough ahead of that to still be able to go to Boston should he choose to. Now Joel is on a mere 11-week training plan because he is running the Erie Marathon in September, which is coming up fast. But so I wrote a plan that is pushing the limits of Joel's physical capabilities and pushing his patience with me, I'm sure too. So Joel, please let us know how the last 7 days have been for you.
Sure, sounds good. So we spoke about it last week, but I did a pretty hard 29K aerobic run. This was on August 1st. So this is the week. So I'm talking about the previous week now, just to lead into last week.
I'm with you.
So it was a pretty hard run, and I felt great at the end. On the Monday, I went for a pretty long walk, but it was fine, and I felt pretty comfortable. Tuesday morning, I went back to the track. So this Tuesday, you added a second 1600.
Yep.
So it was 2 800s, 2 1600s, and 2 800s. And so I ran to the track and I felt okay. But I was slower. I was slower on the track from the week before.
Mm-hmm.
I felt okay, but I was a bit disappointed with that. So the times, I mean, they're just, I would say they're significantly slower. So the first 800 was a 3:18. The second one was a 3:20. The first 1600 was a 6:47. The second 1600 was a 6:56.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last two 800s, 3:25 and 3:22. Part of it, I think I was a bit intimidated by the second 1600. Again, the track is definitely new to me,
Yep.
but it felt like a bit of a warning sign. On the run though, my whole average pace running, so it was like 13.5K, including the time on the track.
Mm-hmm.
The whole run was under 5 minutes per kilometer.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, we did talk, and you said you got to rest more between your interval or your intervals.
Yeah. We're not at a point yet where that those rest periods should be short. We're not yet trying to push the limits of your recovery. We're just get your breath, watch your heart rate. Once it gets down into below 130, then you think about going again.
Okay, so my heart rate drops like a stone as soon as I stop running. Not to sound like I'm being bragging or anything, but it does. Like my heart rate just right back down. So if it's based on heart rate, okay, I think I was. What I'll do tomorrow though, I'm going to wait a little longer between them just to see what happens, just to see how it.
Yeah, give yourself a full 2 minutes, no rush. Like get yourself a drink, walk around, stretch a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So then we get to the Wednesday. So this was an aerobic run. It was a 10 miler, and I went out pretty hard. I was really uncomfortable though. As soon as I didn't feel great to begin even beginning the run. I just felt kind of just sore and
Just flat.
yeah, but I pushed it really hard. And again, I basically ran the same pace that I did the week before on that 10 miler.
Yeah. Now, but the
So-
thing is, you did that same pace after having stressed your body harder the day before.
Yes.
So what
Yeah.
I don't want you to miss that important point of growth there, because that's
Yeah.
what the Wednesday is all about. The Wednesday is all about pushing when your body is already done. And
Right.
that's where, like I was talking about with Jack earlier, that's where you're building strength. It's when you're
Yeah.
feeling like hell on Wednesday and you still got 6 miles to go and you're pushing it anyway. That's what's going to make race day seem that much easier.
Okay. Well, that's good news, because it was pretty uncomfortable. But anyway, I was happy with the time. Thursday rolls around and I'm full on like almost like that feeling of acidosis, just where, my legs just,
You're just not draining it all out.
yeah, no, it was like, it really feels like almost like a burn. Like it's a very, that term, I don't know if I'm using the right term, but it feels like that. It feels like just, it feels just like burning.
Yeah, like
And,
you're not clearing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was no way I was going to run. Even it was the easy day. It was an easy 6.5. You suggested that I do move around, and that would help kind of.
Absolutely. It always does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't record a run. I did walk a bit. But basically I just wanted to rest. And I think it seemed to just pay off big time, because on the Friday, it was a, is that right? 13? Yeah, 13. So a 13K run, which is 8 miles, and there were 10 strides. And again, I had a 4:53 per kilometer on the run.
Nice.
But the big news on that run were the strides, and I felt it on the first stride way faster. And my turnover I was like, oh, this is totally different. My turnover has
Naturally
increased.
picked up. Yeah. Your
And I can
cadence.
feel it, and I feel stronger. Like I can really feel the acceleration in the legs.
Yep.
And it proved out in Strava. I hit speeds that, for a point, like a quick point in time in the stride, where it's much higher than what I've been able to do up to date. So
Yeah, and that's what you're seeing there was a combination of running Wednesday on dead legs and getting. So you obviously got some good rest on Thursday and decent sleep over the night before, because that's where the magic happens. The magic happens when you feel like hell. So it's not the most encouraging moments when you're getting stronger. So just keep that in mind.
right. Yeah, no, and I have periodically felt that in the past. There have been times when that has happened. I have felt it before, and it's just, it's not a pleasant feeling at all. I'm sure you felt it many times, and maybe it's a normal feeling for you.
No, exactly. That's where I live.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then Saturday I did I did the easy run, 6.5K easy run. I opened the door. I woke up and I was just kind of taking it a little easy Saturday morning. Felt I deserved a bit of a break. I opened the door to go out for the run, and too bad Michael's not here, because he would enjoy this. It felt like I opened the door into Florida. It was it was so hot. So the heat is back here. I think maybe it moved up. So I'm like, forget it. I'm getting on the treadmill. So I got on the treadmill.
Good choice.
just did an easy run on the treadmill. And the treadmill, I was looking at the results of the easy run on the treadmill. My heart rate barely even broke. Like it was like I didn't do anything.
This is great news. This is great news.
Yeah. So, but partially because very cool in the room. But anyway, I did like to see that heart rate data. It was very, very low. And then that leads into Sunday, which was extremely intimidating run that I've been fearing. Now I'm fearing my next one in 2 weeks.
Of course, yeah.
This was a 20 miler with 8 miles at marathon pace.
Yeah.
So it was hot, like going to be hot. So set the alarm for 5. I got to my course with my running buddy, and she, you know, she was kind enough to run this with me. So it was an out and back.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was an incline, so there was an elevation gain to 16K and then elevation loss on the return.
Okay.
But yeah, it was for 32K at that pace. Like we both ran. So what the plan was, her Boston qualifying time is I think it's 3:40. So
Okay.
she was really nervous about what I had
So
planned.
she was
for coming
really
back.
going to be moving. Yeah, she was going to be moving.
Well,
like
she was
half
going to
marathon
move, but
pace
not
probably.
like me. She was going to move significantly slower than me, right?
Okay. Okay. I got you.
Yeah. So we got to the 16. I turned around and I'm all excited at this point. So I turned on the jets pretty early, a little too early. And I turned in some really fast kilometers.
Oh yeah. I want you to tell the story. I'm just dying. I'm chomping at the video to give it away.
Okay, yeah. But I turned them in way too early and she was gone. Like, I'm like, well, she's going to be, I figured I'd be finished for 4 minutes before her. And I would, you know, whatever, get my slide, take my shoes off, get the slides, change my shirt, have a rest, and then she would roll in. Anyway, because I'm starting to, my brain is really starting to come up with excuses on this return. And I'm thinking, well, wait a second. And I even start forgetting, like, okay, wait, I'm actually going 32.5. Am I going 32.5? Am I going 32? Did I start my progression too soon? Maybe I can count 2 kilometers earlier as part of my progression. So I wind up making this deal with myself because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I was absolutely exhausted. And so for the last kilometer and a half, I'm like, I'm good. I'm just going to cool down now. Cause I had the progression. I had the 8 miles and they were good. So I slowed right down and I wanted to keep going, but I was absolutely like right to the limit of exhaustion.
Just done. Yeah.
Done. So I'm still pretty proud of myself. And
You should be. You
trotting
should
along
be.
and did a little walking, trotting along, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey!" this yell in my ear, and it's her. So she caught me, and I'm like, "No way!" So I like try to get my legs going. You beat me by about, like, I don't know, like 3 paces, and she did. I looked at her Strava data. She did an absolutely perfect progression run. She was way behind me, but her last kilometer was her fastest kilometer, and she
just used you as a rabbit and just chased you.
She did. And that's why, because she saw me, right? She was like, "Oh, there he is." She couldn't believe she could see me, so she's like, "I'm gonna catch him." And oh man, I was ticked off.
But don't let that get you down, sir, because I'll tell you what, you look at that run. I invite everybody watching this to go to Joel's Strava and check out that run, and it's darned impressive. I'll tell you what, 20 miles with 8 at marathon pace, dude.
Yeah.
What am I going to tell you guys that you haven't heard for the last couple of weeks? You guys are killing it. You guys are just doing some impressive running, and you know, enjoy the aerobic run next weekend because you guys are going to be challenged 2 weeks from now. But the thing is, what I'm seeing out of you guys, you're going to do it. You know, I've got no doubt in my mind. I don't get as nervous anymore because I see what you guys are up to.
Yeah, and the good news as well, after the run, like usually, you know, anything over 30K, I am just a mess for the day. And I was tired and sore, don't get me wrong, but it was different. I felt pretty good. Like,
yeah.
I did.
You're reaching the point now where you're going to start feeling, I don't even, I can't get my mind around what the proper term is, but you're going to start to feel your fitness now. You're going to start to, you can almost walk around with a little bit of a cocky attitude, because what the two of you are experiencing now is the first fruits of what you've been up to for the last month and a half. So what I'm going to start doing, and Joel, we spoke offline about this, but the day before your long runs, guys, from here on out, I don't want you to skip them. I don't want you to replace walking for them if you can help it. And I want you to maybe start, for the next couple of weeks, I want you to start toying with the idea of not running easy the day before your long runs. Maybe start considering playing with making those aerobic runs, pick up the pace a little bit. Because what we were trying to do, just like on track days, going into your long run Wednesdays, your medium long run Wednesdays, Joel, what we want to start doing on the day before your long runs, guys, start stressing your body a little more, so that you're going into that long run not all rested and perfect. We want to start that run feeling a little not quite great, you know, and it's no fun when you're doing it. But when you get to race day and you know you can destroy even when you feel bad, there's no feeling like that in the world, to know you can go into a race not feeling super awesome and knowing you can still get the job done. So with that, guys, I want to thank you both for the encouragement, the motivation and the inspiration that you're providing, not just to me, but to everybody who is following the series. So I think we're about to run out of time on Zoom, so I'm going to say a quick get healthy, stay strong, and keep pushing, folks. You can do it. Peace out, and we'll see you here next week with more great news from these amazing runners. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.